Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be doing a guide for Florence for EU4 1.32 Origins. So Florence is a nation located in the central part of northern Italy. It is one of my favorite nations in the game, and it's one of the best nations to form Italy with. Since the Origins update dropped, Florence got even more powerful thanks to all the monuments that have been added in Italy, including the monument that it starts off with, the Santa Maria del Fiore, which gives us prestige decay, advisor discounts, splendor, and even more of those things when we bump it up to level 3. By playing as Florence, you will create a super powerful Florence, super powerful Tuscany, and a super powerful and tall Italy with massive dev in all of the provinces that we're gonna own, and are gonna be unstoppable in no time. And before we begin, if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like. It really helps out the channel a lot, and if you want to see more guides or more EU4 videos in general, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Let's take a look at what we need to do as Florence. So first we're gonna go into our estates and summon the Diet. You can pick whichever agenda is best for you. Then we're gonna give the clergy religious state, clerical advisory council, and religious diplomats. We're gonna give the nobility primacy of the nobility, increased levies, aristocratic councillors, and then we're gonna give the burghers land of commerce, patronage of the arts, commercial advisory board, and we're not going to be taking indebted to the burghers. Then we're going to seize land and then sell titles. Now it's time to hire some advisors. First though, we're going to focus on Diplo. We need to fulfill one of our first missions right here, personal diplomacy, which requires us to make 12 Diplo points a month. Then we're going to hire an admin advisor. We have some level 2 guys here that are half cost. All of these guys are half cost. I recommend taking the inflation reduction guy. Then for a Diplo guy, take an improved relations or Diplo rep guy. And for your mill advisor, take whichever level 1 guy you want. I'm gonna take this fort defense guy. Now we can fulfill our first mission, personal diplomacy. Our second mission requires us to have allied 2 nations in Italy, so we gain some claims on Tuscany, which is right here, and Emilia-Romagna, which is right here. We're not gonna be sitting rivals just yet. We're gonna take our 1 light ship here, tell them to go home during war, and tell them to protect trade in Genoa. Next, we're gonna take our army, take the 2 cavalry regiments and destroy them, hire 1 more infantry regiment along with the Free Company. And we're also gonna hire 1 general. Next, we need to find some allies. We're gonna be allying 2 nations in Italy along with Austria and France. Don't worry if you don't get one of Austria or France. As an Italian nation, we can ally both of them. Having both is nice, but we're definitely gonna be allying the Pope and Milan. So let's see, I can ally the Pope right away, which is excellent, and I'm gonna Royal Marry Milan as well. Once these guys are back, I'm gonna Royal Marry Austria as well and improve relations with them so I can ally them as well. Once we've allied Milan and the Pope, we will be able to take the second mission right here. No rivals yet. Once a couple of days have passed and you have allied both Milan and the Pope, you will be able to take the mission, the Italian League. It gives us permaclaims right here. And now it's time for our first war. Meanwhile, I have Royal Married Austria and I am improving relations with them. And as soon as I declare the first war, I'll start improving relations with France as well. You should be able to ally Austria after improving a bit, and you will be able to ally France once they start their war with England. And there we go, a few more months have passed. I've also allied Austria. Now I'm gonna be improving with France too, and I can already royal marry them in fact. And I can already ally them, which is excellent. But first, it's time for our first war, which is gonna be against some of the nations that we have claims on. Siena, Lucca, Bologna, or Ferrara. Whichever nation is the easiest to fight. Ideally, you would fight Siena first, since then you could spy on Naples. But in my case, they're allied to Provence, which isn't that easy at the start, so I'll be declaring on Lucca. Like I said, whichever nation is easiest, but if you can, do Siena first. Once you've started your first war, you should also buy indulgence for your sins. Not only will this prevent you from being excommunicated, which won't really happen since you're allied to the Pope, but it also helps us generate even more papal influence. And as we all know, Catholic is even more powerful in Origins. And of course, once you've defeated whichever nation you're fighting, you will be full annexing them. Yes, even Ferrara. In the previous patch, it was smart to vassalize Ferrara since they're pretty big, but now since aggressive expansion has been lowered, you can full annex any of these 4 nations that you're fighting at the start. And there we go, our first war is done. We fought one of those nations and beat them, and right now, we should be able to ally France. Since they are in the war versus England, they will call us in, that's fine, you can accept that, and even go help them out, to build some favors with them. I actually forgot to set rivals before my first war. Remember to do so you can get some extra prestige and power projection when you beat those guys up. Of course, once you unlock Diplotech 4, you'll immediately start building buildings. We're pretty rich and we haven't even taken burger loans, so it's nice to start building marketplaces. At this point, you own 2 or 3 centers of trade. In my case, I own Florence, Pisa, and Lucca, so I will be building those buildings there. Now during this point, if you've taken over Siena first, you will be able to spy on Naples and get a claim on the province of Naples itself. And also around this time is when Aragon will release Naples. But as we all know, they immediately declare a restoration of Union War as soon as their truce is up. And that's exactly what's going on in my case. So, if you've taken Siena first, your second war should immediately be versus Naples, where you're gonna take 2 or 3 provinces from them. Like these 3 over here, or maybe these 3 over here. You need to do that before Naples makes them a junior partner again. That's why it was smart to fight Siena first if you could. In my case, I couldn't. But pretty much as soon as your first war is done, it's time for the second one. In my case, it'll be versus Siena, since I can call in Milan into this war. If your second war isn't versus Naples, we're still fighting some of these guys here. Or maybe even Provence if France isn't willing to defend them. So, at this point, you have a lot more options. Either your neighbors, still the first 4 ones, or Provence or Naples. I'm gonna be fighting Siena now. They are allied to Provence, and this is a perfect opportunity for me to make Provence break their alliance with France, so we can fight them easier later on without having to fight France themselves. If you got lucky, you might also spawn the Renaissance. Unfortunately, it didn't happen in my case. In my case, Mantua spawned it. For your tier 2 government reform, I recommend taking Republicanism. I don't recommend trying to invest too much in becoming the Pope. Instead, you should be taking these papal bonuses up here. They're all really good. They've all been really buffed up since Origins. They're all excellent. Well, except the mercantilism one. I'm gonna be taking the Bless Ruler one first. And of course, because you're allied to Austria, you will be called into the classic Burgundy versus Liège war. Of course, you are gonna accept this, but Burgundy is pretty powerful, so try to avoid them. Like I said, I will be making Provence and their alliance with France. Try to take advantage of an opportunity like this. There we go. And of course, I will be full annexing Siena as well. And that's your first 2 wars done. You may have fought Naples or Provence instead of some of your neighbors like me. After you've gotten Tech 4 and all techs, you will be embracing the Renaissance pretty quickly. Either way, we are gonna wanna bump up our capital of Florence up to 30 for that age bonus. Just debit it in whichever one you have the most of. But either way, after our first 2 wars, it is time to chill a bit, since aggressive expansion will be climbing. Now, something very funny has happened in my situation here. Aragon declared the restoration of Union War on Naples, but they actually took provinces from them instead of subjugating them. I've honestly never seen this happen, and I guarantee it won't happen in your scenario. So no need to worry about stuff like this. I need to worry though. After our first 2 wars are done, you should start spying on Provence, and if Naples is free, on Naples as well. You may also want to curry favors with your allies, especially Milan and the Pope, since you're gonna want to have them help you in wars in Italy. And at this point, you can also start building some more light ships. Once you've embraced the Renaissance, you will also be able to take this mission right here. Even more advisor discounts. Wonderful. And if you have above 90 Republican tradition, which you should still have your first ruler, you'll also be able to take this one too. Of course, when you embrace it, you should also sell it to some of your allies. They're gonna get it anyway, so why not make some money out of it? After you've chilled a bit, it's time to move on with further wars, focusing on the nations we have claims on, or Provence and Naples. I'm gonna be declaring on Bologna. And I am gonna call on Milan to help me out. Milan will be your most trusted ally, at least until they're the only nation in Italy left, along with the Pope. Now, when taking tech as Florence, of course you're gonna be ahead of time always. You're always gonna be the first nation to take techs, and you're gonna be farming innovativeness like it's nothing. But don't take it too ahead of time. As we can see, I can take these ahead of time according to this pop-up right here and gain 8 innovativeness total. I don't have a discount right now, so you're only gonna take techs once this right here turns from yellow to red. Then you're gonna see a countdown timer until when you can take it and use up the innovativeness to the max. You're gonna try and take it the next year so you can get the discount as well as the innovativeness. So right now it's January 1st, 1456, and let's say I had a countdown for 400 days until I can take take it. That means I would wait until the next January, which would give me a further discount on tech, and I'd still take it ahead of time while also getting a discount. So try to take it after the new year to get a discount and innovativeness at the same time. And here's that example I was just talking about. As we can see, I have 353 days left to take admin tech and gain innovativeness. If I take it now, it costs 536 admin points. But since I have 353 days left, I'll actually wait until January 1st, 1457 to take it. I'll show you that as well when we get there. By the time the first election comes around, Cosimo here, he is gonna be pretty old, if he hasn't died already in your case. So I don't recommend re-electing him, it's too expensive and he's gonna die pretty soon. Check his relative, they may be better than these other guys right here. And in my case, this Bonaventura guy, I get 7 monarch points out of him instead of 6 from these other guys. So I am gonna take the relative. And there we go, now that I've beaten up Bologna, I will be full annexing them as well. You won't get a lot of AE from them, since they're not in the HRE. They may not even have any allies at all. For your first idea group as Florence, you will be taking innovative ideas. It's basically a crime not to take innovative first as Florence, and I know people are very opinionated about innovative ideas, whether they're good or not, but as Florence, they are amazing. We gain plus 50% innovativeness gain, which means we'll have 100 innovativeness in around 15 to 20 years. Possible advisors is also awesome, institution spread is great, minus 10% tech cost along with the minus 5% we already have, along with the minus 25% advisor discount. Minus 25 from here, and another minus 20 from the Santa Maria del Fiore, that's minus 45. Along with the minus 25% we have from Clerical Advisory Council, Aristocratic Counselors, and Commercial Advisory Board, that's 70% advisor discounts in no time. Oh, and by the way, you're gonna be going for Cairo either way. If you're going for the Prince of Egypt achievement, the Pyramid of Cheops, if we accept the Egyptian culture group, that's another minus 15% advisor discount and another minus 5% idea discount. It's all about discounts. In fact, I'm doing a campaign over on Twitch all about discounts as Florence. You can check it out on Twitch, or you can follow along on the second channel, Red Hawk VODs, links are in the description. And we even have another monument in Athens that gives us even further discounts, the Parthenon right here, another minus 20% advisor cost. Can you get more than minus 100 advisor discounts as Florence? Yes, but they bottom out at about 2.5 ducats for level 5 advisors. So innovative ideas as your first idea group. No, this won't slow down your taking of the second idea group, since you're opening up with an admin idea group. We're farming monarch points as Florence either way. Once you've chilled a bit, it's time to continue your conquests elsewhere, and in my case it's gonna be versus Provence, because like I said earlier, I made them break their alliance with France. This isn't something that you need to do. If you can't fight Provence, it's fine, you'll get an opportunity to do it later, but if you can't take advantage of it, do it. That's why I'll be declaring on them. Don't call the Pope in to this war, because you guys know the Pope has Avignon right here. They could occupy some stuff that we actually want for ourselves. Of course, once you do occupy everything you want down here, feel free to call in the Pope. And you'll also want to start spying on the Pope as well, so we can get a claim on Avignon. The popes, more often than other rulers, are embezzlers, which is pretty funny. And if a pope has the embezzler personality trait, they might be willing to sell Avignon to us. Now, when the Shadow Kingdom incident fires, of course, as you all know, the Italian nations, all of these guys right here, including us, we basically leave the HRE. Now, any nation that Austria has allied, aside from us, will probably stay as well. In my case, they've allied Savoy, which means Savoy will most likely stay as well. Since we're also allied to Austria, we are also gonna stay. If for some reason you're not allied to Austria, or if you've broken your alliance with them, then you should leave as well. We'll see what happens when a year passes and the incident is over. Sure, you can vote, but it doesn't really matter. It only matters what Austria chooses. And of course, once you've beaten up Provence enough, you will be taking only these 3 provinces from them. Like I said, it's fine if you're not fighting them at all. Oh, and by the way, if you get a pop-up like this, personal union on monarch death, that doesn't happen. We're a republic, I don't know why it shows up. If aggressive expansion is pretty high in your case, just like in mine right here, you can simply move around your merchants, the guys that are in Valencia and Ragusa, like this. Send them to Venice, and send them to Genoa as well, and once they arrive there, you can tell them to establish communities for even more relations improvement. Of course, don't forget to also take Sanction Dynasty for even more improved relations. And there we go, this is the event that pops up when the Shadow Kingdom is over. Our country is a natural part of the Empire where we stay and suffer penalties if we're not allied to Austria, or we leave. Like I said, stay if you're allied to Austria, leave if you're not. I'm gonna stay. For your first stage ability, you should of course take Justified Wars. For your tier 3 government reform, I recommend taking frequent elections. This is what I mean with tech, by the way. See, we have 9 days left to take Diplo Tech 6 and gain innovativeness from it, but it is 5% more expensive from being ahead of time. So, there we go, December 29th, 7 days left, 30th, 31st, 1st, and we just got a discount on Diplo Tech, but we can also take it and gain innovativeness. That's how you need to time taking tech. By this point, it's also time to start spying on everyone around you, since we are a bit faster than our mission tree and we can't expand only in the provinces that we have claims on from the missions. I'm spying on Genoa and Savoy right now, and I'll be continuing my wars, this time versus Ferrara. They seem to be the weakest nation I can fight right now, so why not? I'm also gonna make Naples and Genoa end some of their alliances in this war. Pretty much all of these guys are allied to each other. They're allied to big powers. Venice, they allied Aragon. Genoa, they got a lot of these guys, and they're allied to Savoy. Savoy, they're allied to Austria, so expansion is gonna get difficult the less nations you have to fight. So that's why I'm fighting Ferrara, and I'm gonna make some of these guys and their alliances. And there we go, like I said, I'll make Genoa end some alliances now, like the one with Savoy, which is the most annoying. Let's see, someone else too. How about the one with Albania too? There we go, it'll be easier to fight Genoa later. And now that I've beaten up Ferrara, I'll be full annexing them as well. There we go. For your second age ability, you should take the Transfer Subject and Claims Bordering Claims option. This will enable us to spy on nations that we want to fight, but we don't directly border, such as in my case, Naples. I want to conquer stuff from them, but I can't because I don't border them. This way, I'll be able to spy on them because I have a claim on Naples here in Aragon. Also, what you should do after taking this age ability is claim Naples, then claim Trapani down here, so you can start spying on Tunis and claim stuff from them. You are going to want to fight Tunis as well, as long as they're not allied to the Ottomans, of course, and in my case, well, they are, so I guess I won't be doing that. Now we're declaring war on Parma because they just popped out of Milan for some reason. Someone made Milan release them, and there we go, a nice little opportunity right there. Expansion is still slow because, well, we are in very highly developed provinces and we're technically sort of in the HRE or on the border of the HRE, but it's still way faster than before Origins. And there we go, that was a quick little easy war. Don't forget to also upgrade Centers of Trade as well. For my next war here, I'll declare on Saluzzo and co-belligerent Provence as well to get this little province from them. Of course, as Florence, you're gonna be deving all the time. Really. And now that I've beaten these guys up, I'll be taking these two provinces right here and all their money, boom. There we go, Saluzzo is gone, and we also have the entire area of Provence. For your second idea group as Florence, I recommend taking plutocratic ideas. A super powerful group that's pretty much overlooked, maybe because we don't play republics that often, but Pluto is super powerful. Mercenary manpower and discipline, morale plus 10%, unrest -2, a merchant, goods produced plus 10%, which is amazing. Caravan power, probably the only one we don't really use that much. Manpower recovery speed, and then institution spread. Plutocratic is super powerful, especially as Florence. And when it's time to continue your conquests, of course, by this point, you're pretty much gonna be out of any small nations that you can fight, so the only big nations that are gonna be left are the Pope, and if anyone owns this down here, such as Naples or their overlords, Milan, Genoa, and Venice. In my case, Savoy is also left. They are pretty powerful because they've allied Austria and stayed in the empire. But I'll be declaring on Genoa now, and of course when you do fight Genoa you have a couple of options. Taking just the province of Genoa in the first war, or the provinces of Albenga and Corsica in the first war. Don't take all three, it's probably gonna be too much aggressive expansion. So I'll declare on them right now, call in the Pope, and see what we'll take when we finish them off. And to be honest, it's easier than ever to fight Genoa since the AI now deletes forts that they can't pay for. In my case, they don't have that level 3 coastal fort here. It's just a regular level 1 fort. And that's the war with Genoa pretty much done, since as you guys know they have provinces over here. In my case they have Valle di Meretti. No one's gonna really walk over there. So let's see what I'll be taking. Albenga and Corsica their 21 aggressive expansion. Would a coalition form? Is just 3 nations, so no. A coalition needs 4 nations to form. Let's see what happens if I want to take Genoa. 26 aggressive expansion, a bit more, and once again, 4 nations would join, but not really since I have truces with Provence and Genoa. So still, no coalition would form. Like I said, either Genoa or Albenga and Corsica. Of course, Genoa would be much nicer. It does produce paper. It is a center of trade, a very, very valuable province. And that's our first war with Genoa done. You may have fought them already in your case. For your tier 4 government reform, I recommend taking Union of States for plus 10% global trade power. But later down the line, governing capacity is going to become a problem. So when that does happen, you might want to swap over to administrative divisions for that plus 250 gov cap. But right now, it is better to take Union of States. And now that some time has passed, I'll be declaring on Mantua to wipe them out over here, and I'm also gonna make Savoy break their alliance with Austria and hope that that will make them leave the HRE, because they are getting pretty strong, so we need to work around this in any way that we can. Once you get your 3rd merchant from plutocratic ideas, either send him to Tunis to transfer to Genoa or to collect in Venice. Let's see, right now I'm making 14.03 ducats a month from trade. If he collects in Venice, I actually make less for some reason. I don't think that's quite right. But let's make him transfer from Tunis, and there we go, that's more like it. And now that I've beaten up Savoy, a pretty strong nation that's in my path, I will make them end their alliance with Austria. Hopefully, this will make them leave the HRE, and I'll make them cancel Geneva or something like that. And I'll take war-ups from them. And now that I've beaten up Mantua, if I full annex them, it is 41 aggressive expansion, quite high. A coalition might form, even though I have truces with most of those nations, but still, I will vassalize them for slightly less aggressive expansion. Ah, Machiavelli. There's an event for him. Of course we're gonna take him, why not? Actually, I think I'll even promote him to level 3. As we can see, with all those advisor discounts and stuff we're getting, and advisors we're getting from events as well, in 1492, I'm running 2 level 3 advisors and a level 2 advisor, and we're still making like 14 ducats a month. Either way, somewhere around this time you may have an opportunity to declare on Tunis if they aren't allied to the Ottomans anymore, or if they never allied them. In my case, that doesn't exist anymore, and I have made a claim on Tunis by spying on this province right here and claiming it, and with the claims bordering claims, we can also claim Tunis. I'm actually also going to claim this one, since I do have the spy network. So it is time to declare on them. At this point, aggressive expansion in Europe will start to become high, and we do need to open up another route of expansion. So I'll be declaring on Tunis. You should be able to do this as well, beat them easily, as long as they're not allied to the Ottomans, of course. And now that I've defeated Tunis, I'll be taking their entire state of Tunis from them and leaving them with just 1 province. There we go. Awesome. Now, when you conquer stuff over here in Northern Africa, of course, all of this might be what you want to conquer, but I do recommend trade companying everything in the Safi, Tunis, and Aleppo trade nodes. I recommend stating everything else. You might also want to trade company things in Ragusa, but that's up to you. What I recommend is Safi, Tunis, and Aleppo. So I will be trade companying everything there. There we go. We don't have to worry about the religion or anything like that. We do gain another monument, the holy city of Kairouan, but we can't use it since we're not Muslim, and even if we could, it's not a very good monument. For your naval doctrine, all of these are honestly great as Florence. If you want to maximize the amount of money make, take merchant navy. If you want even more powerful galleys, take free oarsmen. And if you want to never build a boat again for the rest of the game, take shipboarding. I want to maximize those profits, so I'm gonna take merchant navy. And of course you should also build trade company investments. Of course I do recommend all of the 400 ducat buildings, and remember you can only build 1 per area, so only 1 of these buildings in this entire area, and you can only build 1,000 ducat one in the entire trade node. Of course you're gonna be building every 400 ducat one in every area, but since you can only build 1,000 ducat one, I recommend building the township, the officer's mess, or the property appraiser, depending on what you need. Force limit, army tradition, or trade steering. The harbor and the general's mansion, they're not that good. And I recommend building the broker's exchanges first. So I'm gonna build that, and I'm also gonna build the company depot. This might also grant you a 4th merchant if you have more than 50% trade power in a certain trade node. That 4th guy, I'm gonna tell him to collect in Venice. And by around the 1490s, your game should look a little something like this. Basically, we started off as Florence and started off opportunistically conquering our neighbors, Siena, Lucca, Bologna, and Ferrara. Like I said, Siena first if you can, so you can get some claims on Naples going and fight them while they're free from Aragon. While we were expanding here, we took every opportunity we could to fight either Provence or Naples or both of them, basically fighting Provence without fighting France and fighting Naples without fighting Aragon. If you could take advantage of situations like that, that's great, but this is totally something that you don't need to follow along with. It's just something that is gonna make you powerful, whether you can do it or not. Aside from that, we continued our expansion here, taking over the smaller nations while remaining allied to Milan, the Pope, Austria, and France. Obviously, I'm not allied to Milan anymore because they're weak. I've replaced them with Switzerland, which is great. And once you take care of the small nations here, you're gonna continue to expand in the bigger ones, such as Venice, Genoa, and in my case, Savoy as well. They're pretty strong since they remained in the Empire and they were allied to Austria, but I should be able to take them out soon enough. And by this point, you should own all of Tuscany, maybe all of Emilia-Romagna as well, and some more provinces over here. And as a bonus, provinces in Provence or in Naples. Maybe you have all of Naples by now. It is totally possible. It's just something I couldn't do in my situation, and they've even been PU'd by Castile once again. Castile and Aragon will try to PU them, so you gotta act fast in that regard. By this point, we should have a ton of development. I'm almost on the Great Powers list. In fact, I need 7 more dev to overtake Denmark, which is very easily doable. We're gonna be deving all the time as Florence. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dev, and there we go. We already have more dev than Denmark, and we're almost on the Great Powers list, which is awesome. All of these provinces are very highly developed, and we're going to be deving them even more. Speaking of deving and building, you should have also been building a ton of buildings by now. These are all the marketplaces I have in all the center of trade provinces, as we can see right here. Even my subject has some. I do recommend building marketplaces in provinces which give you more than 2 trade power, so I'm obviously going to be building them in Kairouan and Kef as well. You should have also been building a bunch of workshops in all the high value trade good provinces, such as Siena with the gems, all the cloth ones, the salt ones, and the paper ones as well. Those are pretty much the most valuable trade goods we're gonna come in contact with. Even iron here in Saluzzo. Maybe you've built a few churches as well, that's awesome. And maybe you've built some manufactories as well, although the expensive manufactories which we really want to build in the high value trade good provinces, they're not unlocked yet for us at this point, but you will continue to build them. So just build marketplaces, workshops, manufactories, you're gonna be swimming in ducats in no time. Speaking of swimming in ducats, you should also have light ships protecting trade, mainly in Genoa, but later on when you build up your navy, in other trade nodes as well, such as Genoa, Venice, Ragusa, Tunis, Valencia, and Alexandria most importantly. As you can see, we're already making a ton of money, mainly from trade. I'm making 18 ducats a month right now, which is awesome, and I'm running 2 level 3 advisors and a level 2 advisor as well. Of course, we could get a level 3 mill guy as well. They're super cheap. We already have minus 35% advisor discounts just from regular stuff and another 25% from the estate privileges, which means we're already at minus 60% advisor discounts. Minus 70 when we upgrade Santa Maria del Fiore, minus 85 when we get the Pyramid of Cheops, and minus 105 when we get the Parthenon as well. So many advisor discounts. We're gonna be farming Monarch points. Speaking of great projects, there are lots of great projects we can take advantage of in Italy as well. As you all know, Santa Maria del Fiore is awesome, but the one in Venice, the Doge's Palace, is also extremely good for us. Republican tradition and reform progress growth is gonna help us blaze through these reforms and keep at 100 Republican tradition at all times. The one in Milan, it's alright, you don't have to focus on upgrading it too much, but it does give us yearly papal influence, and it's pretty good as well. The one in Naples, the Royal Palace of Caserta, this one is excellent as well, plus 100 gov cap at tier 3 and even more reform progress growth. Like I said, we're going to be blazing through all of these 10 tiers of republic reforms, and then we're going to be blazing through the monarchy reforms as well once we flip to a monarchy. Speaking of flipping to a monarchy, that can be done through the Bonfire of Vanities disaster. It's not a very bad disaster. It forces you to become a unique government type, which is a theocracy, but you can flip back to a republic, or you can also become a monarchy through it. Either way, I don't recommend becoming a monarchy before the age of absolutism. So once the age of absolutism hits, and once you're Italy, then you're gonna take the final reform, which is seize executive power and become a monarchy, or you can even stay a republic. It's totally up to you. It really is your choice. When the Protestant Reformation comes around, I do recommend staying Catholic. It is a super powerful religion, especially in Origins. You're going to be clicking these buttons all the time and getting all the excellent bonuses that have been buffed even further from it. So I do recommend staying Catholic. For your next idea groups, I recommend taking economic. For your third idea group, it's going to help with dev and buildings and making money even more. For your fourth idea group, I recommend taking quantity, even more dev stuff, even bigger armies. You guys already know the drill. So innovative Pluto, economic quantity. After that, I recommend taking trade and then quality, and after that, the final two are up to you. Of course, you are going to be forming Tuscany as soon as you hit Admin Tech 10. Not a lot of stuff really changes, but sure, we gain monthly autonomy change minus 0.05, which is great, and you can form Italy whenever you want. Now, depending on your goals, if it's playing tall-ish or if you plan to blob, you can either take or not take Italy's ideas. Personally, even though Italy has very strong ideas, I prefer the Tuscan ones, so I would be sticking with them. In fact, that's what I did in my Tuscany playthrough on Twitch. But if you feel like blobbing, definitely go for the Italian national ideas. You're gonna get Italy's mission tree either way. For your next government reforms for tier 5, I recommend taking the presidential system. For tier 6, I recommend taking devolution of powers. For tier 7, I recommend taking political principle. We are gonna be using more admin policies rather than diplo. For tier 8, I recommend taking citizenry for plus 10% morale of armies. For tier 9, you could take appointment by committee for even more advisor discounts and possible advisors, or you could also take bureaucratic apparatus for minimum autonomy in territories, which would help with your trade companies. And for tier 10, if you want to flip to a monarchy, then you're going to take seize executive power. And if you're planning on staying as a republic, I recommend taking strengthen executive powers for even more max absolutism. And after this point, of course, you are going to continue to expand in all the same directions we've been expanding, taking over Italy, focusing on the Valencia and Ragusa trade nodes, focusing on North Africa, the Maghreb, fighting the Mamluks later on, and eventually fighting the Ottomans, Castile and Aragon, and even France and Austria, your long-term allies down the line. Everything I'm pretty much doing right now in my playthrough on Twitch. And like I said, by around the 1490s, your game should look a little something like this. If you're not that confident in your abilities, or if you're not sure if your game is gonna go like mine, this save file is available for all YouTube members in the Save Games Discord channel, and you can continue playing as Florence from this date forward. Let me know in the comments below which nation you would like to see a guide for next. If you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to leave a like. It really helps out the channel a lot. And if you want to see more EU4 guides or more EU4 videos in general, definitely hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. And you can become a member today and join the Discord. The link is in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another EU4 video.